everyone, Steph Koza here, and this year's Oscar ceremony is happening tonight. So I thought I would continue my annual tradition, and by annual I mean I did this last year, and that's the only time I ever did it. And just so you know, tonight I'm going to be live streaming on this channel. The first time I've ever done a live stream. Kinda nervous a little bit, but also very, very excited. So if you want to come hang out, watch the Oscars with me, watch me predict some stuff, maybe play some drinking games, just hang out, please come join me. I don't know exactly what time it will be, but I will put it on Twitter, but it will be over the course of the Oscars ceremony. Today is also my birthday. So if you don't really care about the Oscars, just come to my online live stream birthday party. I'm very excited. We're gonna have lots of fun. I have lots of exciting things planned. I'm very excited. Did I mention that I'm excited? So yeah, come hang out with me tonight on this channel, live streaming. Yay! All right, so let's get down to business. Last year when I did this, I think I got 14 of my nominations correct. And personally, I'm pretty proud of that fact. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And this year, I'm hoping to do maybe even a little bit better, although this year I feel was a bit trickier than last year. So let's just get down to business. So I wrote these down in the order that they're listed on the Oscars website, so I'm just gonna start from the bottom of that list and work my way up. So that brings us to our very first category, which is writing original screenplay. This was actually super hard for me to decide because I was really torn between La La Land and Manchester by the Sea. Manchester by the Sea is honestly really it's just like a beautifully written story from beginning to end. It's very real. It's just a very great depiction of awkwardness of people and the sadness that Casey Affleck's character feels. And it just portrays normal average life in a really good way. And a lot of that has to do with the writing and the way people talk to each other and the way they converse, and it's very natural and very organic, and I really like that. However, I love La La Land. La La Land is great. And part of the reason that I like it and that most people like it so much is because the screenplay is beautiful. And personally, I think it's more beautiful than Manchester by the Sea. So I'm gonna go with La La Land. I actually didn't count how many awards I'm giving to La La Land, so that's gonna be an interesting count. The next category is Best Writing of an Adapted Screenplay. I'd like to say this one was difficult, but it wasn't. I'm giving it to Moonlight. Moonlight was great. The next category I am so torn about, visual effects. All right, so honestly, every single one of these movies had amazing visual effects. Like Rogue One, oh, so good. Like one of the best visual Star Wars movies ever. Doctor Strange, crazy good. Like that one scene is just like a total mind fuck. Ugh, it's so good. But what I'm torn the most between are The Jungle Book and Kubo and the Two Strings. Now The Jungle Book, not a lot of people talked about it. I thought it was very good, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I think honestly it was just the fact that the story of The Jungle Book has never really been a big deal to me. But visually that movie was beautiful. I mean, they brought this huge jungle to life with all of these amazing animals and characters that looked so real, and it was all done in like a soundstage in LA. Which is crazy. But then we have Kubo and the Two Strings, which is, they're totally not even like two things you can compare because the styles are so different. And Kubo and the Two Strings is mostly stop motion, which I just admire so much because it's so difficult and it's so beautiful, and the result in this movie is amazing. So while I feel like it's probably going to be The Jungle Book that gets this, I'm giving it to Kubo because I want to have hope that this amazing piece of art can win something. Next we have sound mixing. Sound mixing and sound editing are always really weird categories, and sometimes I feel like the Academy themselves don't really know the difference. But basically sound editing usually has to do with sound effects and that aspect of the sound, whereas sound mixing is like the balance of all the sounds, so like the music balance with the dialogue, balance with the sound effects, and just the way that it all weaves together. So sound mixing I'm giving to La La Land because it's a musical, and that has a lot to do with sound. And I just really liked the way that a lot of it worked. I really liked the one scene where Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling are singing City of Stars at the piano, and it's very organic, and it sounds like it was all recorded live right there on the scene. There were no studios involved, and you can hear them kind of shuffling around, and you can hear Emma Stone sort of like laughing, and it's just very organic and very cool, and I really liked it. And the whole entire movie kind of has that effect, and it's just beautiful, and so yeah, La La Land wins. Next, we have sound editing. I'm not really sure what that voice was. Hi, I'm Steph Koza and I'd like to sell you a car. Sound editing. Okay, this one's actually kind of hard because at first I was like, La La Land, obviously, but La La Land doesn't really have like sound effects. Like technically, does it have sound effects? I'm not really sure. And personally, I really liked Hacksaw Ridge and Sully. I feel like those two movies were like, the sound was so, it was such a huge, it was like a character. The sound was a character. In Sully, there was a lot of like the sounds of the plane, like before it's about to crash, and it's like the sounds of the plane were so much louder than everything else because it was like so much more important than everything else, and that was like the focus. And then in Hacksaw Ridge, you just have these like terrible, terrible sounds of war and explosions and bullets and just trauma. And in La La Land, there's like the music, but that's not really a sound effect. It's just a music. Honestly, the reason that I'm so torn with this is that I just don't really know all the technical details that go into deciding what sound editing really means. But I'm gonna give it to Hacksaw Ridge because La La Land, just take a break. You can take the hit. And Hacksaw Ridge was amazing, and this is really the only category where I feel like it could possibly win, and I wanted to win something because it's so good. Next, we have probably the most polarizing category, which is short film live action. I've read a lot of like critics reviews and critics predictions, and almost every single critic has picked a different short film to win this award. Like every single one has been picked as a prediction by somebody. Personally, the one that I feel like I most enjoyed watching was Timecode. If you haven't watched, I think you really should. It's not very long. It's like maybe 15 minutes or so. And there's like no dialogue, and it's just really like cute and funny and very bizarre. But I don't think it deserves to win. I just think that it was really fun and it should get some kind of honorable mention. What I think should win, I cannot pronounce. Enemies Interieurs. So it's French, and I believe the title means the enemies within or the enemies inside or some variation of that. But the reason I like this movie so much is because the writing was really well done. The film itself mostly takes place in this one small room with just a back and forth conversation, which is really challenging to make interesting, but I was hooked. And it's just very like culturally and politically relevant right now, and I think it's a very important piece of film, and I really liked it. Next we have short animated film. This one, hands down, is going to Piper. And if you're like, Steph, I've never watched any of these movies, I'm pretty sure you've seen Piper. Let me correct that. If you've seen Finding Dory, you've seen Piper, because Piper was the Pixar short that they played at the beginning of Finding Dory. And now it's all coming back to you and you're remembering how emotional it made you because it's a freaking Pixar short and they just get ya. So yes, Piper. Next we have production design, and you betcha it's going to La La Land. Duh. Though I am excited that Hail Caesar got a little nod here because I kind of forgot that movie existed and I really liked it. It was really good. Next we have music, original song. The fact that La La Land has 2 nominations here is actually amazing and I'm super excited about it. Okay, so personally, I prefer Audition The Fools Who Dream over City of Stars. I think it's a really powerful song. I think it's the most powerful scene in the movie, and I really just love the words of it. I think they really resonate with like creative people or anyone really, people who dream. Who doesn't dream about something? But I feel like the Academy is gonna pick City of Stars because it kind of represents this whole big thing, and it's the La La Land song. Everyone knows it as the La La Land song. So yeah, City of Stars probably gonna win. Next we have Best Music Original Score. Can you take a guess? Can you take a guess what that is? La La Land. Best Makeup and Hairstyle. There are only 3 movies nominated for this, and there's no way in hell I'm giving it to Suicide Squad. To be honest with you, I didn't see The Man Called Ove, so I'm giving it to Star Trek Beyond, hey. Foreign language film. Gonna be honest, didn't watch any of them. I kind of feel terrible about it, but you know, I just didn't have time this year, okay? There's a lot of movies. Film editing. This one, once again, goes to La La Land. Because it was just so good. It was so good. My runner-up is actually Arrival, because Arrival. Next we have Best Documentary Short. And to be honest, I didn't really watch any of these. But if you'd like an idea, most people are saying that The White Helmets was great. Personally, I didn't see it, but I'm gonna just relay that information to you. It's probably gonna be The White Helmets. There you go. Best Documentary Feature, hands down, OJ Made in America. Put anything in front of me about OJ Simpson and I will watch the shit out of it. I don't know why that story is just so interesting to me, although I do have to say that the show, The People vs. OJ Simpson, blown me away. Blown me away? Blew me away. What's next? Oh, next we have directing. This one, hands down, don't even have to think about it. I'm giving it to La La Land. Costume design. This category I actually had a lot of trouble with because every single movie nominated had great costume design, and it's really difficult to kind of decide what the best one was. So originally I was actually thinking Fantastic Beasts because I really liked the costumes in that movie and they were really cool and really intricate. Then I thought about it a little more and I thought, first of all, that wasn't really a movie that resonated with people. It was just a movie that looked really good. And I was like, well, Florence Foster Jenkins had pretty good costume design. I mean, Florence had these crazy dresses with ridiculous hats and all this just crazy stuff. So that's really a good contender, is Florence Foster Jenkins. And then I thought, well, La La Land, actually, people have really been talking about, particularly the yellow dress that Emma Stone wears, for some reason is just like a huge talk of fashion lately. But Jackie has a shit ton of costume changes, and she looks just like Jackie Kennedy, like spot on. So I think just because of the attention to detail and the amount of outfits that she has, giving it to Jackie. Cinematography. This one is hands down going to La La Land. And although the cinematography for Silence was so good, amazingly good, the movie itself didn't really resonate with people that much. It was very long. A lot of people didn't like it. And I kind of feel like the Academy goes for things that like are just all around really good. Like, yeah, you might have the best cinematography, but the movie overall didn't quite cut it. And unfortunately, that's just the way the Academy is. Next, we have animated feature film. Okay, this is really bothering me. I've changed my answer for this like a million times, and I'm still just... Okay, so I feel like a lot of people want it to be Zootopia. And I don't want it to be Zootopia. Don't get me wrong. I love Zootopia. I think it was a really good story, a really important story. Now I want to change my answer. No, I'm not. It's not Zootopia. I have so much love and admiration for Kubo and the Two Strings because it was such an original, beautiful story, and most of all, the animation. You have to take into account that this is a category in animation, and the animation in this movie is absolutely just art. Because the entire thing is stop motion. It's a long movie. It's really, really intricate. Like, the detail in these animations is crazy intricate. And it's so smooth for a stop motion. Like, I had to go and look it up to be like, is this actually stop motion? Because this is freaking beautiful. So because of that, because of how much time and effort and energy and love went into this movie, I'm gonna be sad if it doesn't win. Next, we have Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Okay, listen. If Viola Davis does not win this award for Fences, I'm never watching the Oscars again. I am boycotting the Oscars forever. That woman can cry like I've never seen anybody cry in my life. Freaking snot coming out of her eyeballs. It's disgusting and beautiful. I'm honestly kind of hurt that she didn't get picked for Best Actress because, I mean, she's in the movie about as much as Denzel Washington, right? Am I crazy? Is it just me? I think she should be up there. Next, we have Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Alright, so originally, I really, really liked Jeff Bridges in Hell or High Water. I still really like his performance in that movie. It's really great. It's phenomenal. But after a lot of thinking, Mahershala Ali, please God tell me I'm pronouncing that kind of right, gave a really, really powerful performance in Moonlight. And what's interesting about his performance is that his character is only in the movie for the first third of the movie, because the movie's split up into three parts. There's like childhood, middle age, adolescence, and adult. He's in the childhood stage, and he plays this drug dealing but sweet, like, father figure guy. And even though he's only in that first bit of the movie, he kind of like resonates throughout the rest of the film. Like, he has such a huge impact on you that you kind of feel him throughout the rest of the movie. That's why I'm giving it to him, because that's freaking hard to do. Next, we have Actress in a Leading Role. Now, I just recently saw Jackie, and Natalie Portman blew me away. Like, she was spot on Jackie Kennedy. Like, I was really impressed. But I'm giving it to Emma Stone, because while she was pretty good for the entirety of the movie, the scene where she sings Audition was just like so powerful, and like she was so good in that scene, and like the whole movie, but especially that scene. I just like, I can't stop thinking about it. And I also know that the Academy really likes Emma Stone, and she's been nominated before, and she just kind of deserves it, I think. Plus, La La Land was a billion times better than Jackie. Didn't really care for Jackie. It was alright. It was kind of boring, kind of slow, kind of sad. That's all I got. There's my 5-second review. Best Actor actor in a leading role. It was actually super difficult for me to decide. Originally I was thinking Denzel Washington because his performance is just so good in Fences, like really, really good. But I'm giving it to Casey Affleck from Manchester by the Sea. There are a lot of reasons that I chose this. The reasons that I chose him over Denzel are because Denzel has won like 4 Oscars at this point, I think, and the Academy is like weird about giving people a shit ton of Oscars. There aren't very many people who have won more than 4 Oscars. Like it's kind of like the cutoff. They're like, all right, you've had enough. You can step aside. Kind of the same reason I didn't pick Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. Like we all know that you're great. All right, Meryl, just go over there. I also feel like Casey Affleck is kind of suffering from the Leonardo DiCaprio curse. He's been nominated so many times, but he just won't win anything. And I think his performance in Manchester by the Sea was really good. I feel like for a script that didn't really give him that much, like, he didn't have a scene that was like, oh, like Viola Davis's scene, for example. She has that scene where she's just crying and it's like, oh, it really shows like her acting abilities in that scene. Casey Affleck doesn't really have a scene in this movie, but throughout the whole thing, he's just so like, I don't know. Something about his mannerisms and his facial expressions and the way that like he'll just look down at the floor and it'll just like mean so much. I think he was just really good at that. Really good at not really saying much but showing a lot. So that's why I'm giving this to Casey Affleck. And last but not least, we have Best Picture. Are you ready? Are you ready for this huge, shocking surprise? Best Picture goes to La La Land. Hands down. That's it. That's my only choice. It's the best. It's the best movie I've ever seen in my whole life. And if there's anything the Academy loves, it's movies that suck Hollywood's dick. It's just a fact of life. But also, it was amazing. And it deserves it. A lot. Personally, I want to give every award to La La Land, even the ones that don't make sense. Best Animated Feature? La La Land. There was some animation in there somewhere. The Planetarium? It's in there. Best Documentary? La La Land. You could twist it to make it a documentary. It's possible. I love La La Land. Okay, that's everything. That's all my predictions. I'm so excited. So yes, tune in tonight here on this channel, right here where I am. This is where I live. And hang out with me and watch the Oscars with me and play some drinking games and I don't know, we're just gonna hang out. I'll be talking to you guys, answering your questions. It'll be very like, it'll be like a chat. We'll be hanging out like your friends. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm Steph Koza and I will see you next time or possibly tonight right here on my live stream. Yay! Bye guys.